So good things come to those who wait, right? Well, that's how the phrase goes. Now, we've been waiting quite a long time for this, the Ford Puma. So shall we find out if it's a good thing? Come on, let's do a bit of a reveal together. Ooh, well, that's new. Oh, I recognise this. Let's keep going, let's keep going. Oh, recognise this. Hang on a minute. So we've been waiting for, I think, over 3 years. Kind of looks the same. The designers must have been really busy. So I guess on the one hand, it is actually brilliant that this looks just like the Puma that we know, that we love, because ultimately, why fix something that ain't broke? But on the other hand, it's a little bit disappointing that it has taken so flippin' long to get us an electric Puma that looks, well, just like the Puma. But with this, of course, this flush grille-less fascia. I mean, I would love to know what has taken so long forward, because it ain't the design, is it?
Still, the important tech stuff looks good, and that's the important thing. Now, underneath this new Puma Gen-E is a 43 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery, and that's good for an official range of up to 233 miles. Now, that suggests great efficiency for the Puma. For some context, the Puma's direct rival, the Jeep Avenger, manages a 248 mile range from a substantially bigger 51 kilowatt hour battery.
You also get 100 kilowatt DC rapid charging, so the Puma can manage a 10 to 80% top up in under 25 minutes, which is pretty much on par with other compact electric SUVs that are similar sized to this 4.2 metre long Puma. That would include things like the Jeep Avenger that we just mentioned, but there is also the Hyundai Kona, the MG4, the Smart #1, the Volvo EX30, and there's also some more hatchbacky alternatives like the Renault 5, the Citroën EC3. So it does have quite a lot of competition, this Puma.
But it does seem to be competitive for all that important stuff. Plus, you've got new, brighter colours to choose from. Now, if you decide to treat yourself and go for the premium model, you get Matrix LED headlights, bigger 18-inch alloy wheels, and even one of those terrible hands-free boot opening systems that no one trusts, wants, or uses.
Now, obviously, you may have gathered that we're not going to drive the Puma Gen-E today. It would be pretty limiting around this studio, and I don't really back myself avoiding those walls. So we're going to have to wait and have a drive of this when it actually goes on sale next year. But Ford has told us that the Gen-E will be front-wheel drive, and it will be able to do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8 seconds. I like that. That sounds punchy enough without being unnecessarily stupidly fast. Now, more importantly, for a family car like this, how big is the boot? Well, I'm glad you asked, because come with me. Check this out. Pretty big. Now, don't forget that the Puma is smaller than the VW ID3, and that gets 385 litres of boot space, while the Ford has a whopping 523 litres. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That doesn't look like 523 litres. That's because there's a bit of a caveat. 145 of those litres are in what Ford calls the gigabox, and what the rest of us call is just the underfloor space. But take a look. We've got all sorts in here. Ooh. Might be taking those for later. We've got yoga mat, paddle rackets. Anyway, there's loads of space under there. And what I love is, you know, you have all of that stuff in your boot that you keep there all of the time, but you don't really need it, but you want it in the boot just in case. But it looks messy. That's where it's going to go. For me, travel cot. Manos suggested that I put my children there. I'm not sure that's legal, but I could try it out. I'll let you know how I get on. But basically, I am a big fan of the practicality of that. And then you just have a nice clean space for all your shopping. Wishful thinking. Who gets to go shopping nowadays? But well done, Ford, because that really is a very useful boot. easily one of the biggest of its direct rivals. I think only the Skoda Elroq gets close, and that's actually a slightly bigger car that will probably cost a similar amount to this. Speaking of price, I will come back to that in just a moment because I think you're gonna get excited about it. Next, let's have a look at the back. Ta-da! There's about as much space as you would expect in a Puma. Not loads, it's not hugely spacious, but ample. This seat is in my driving position, and you can see there's a couple of inches there, 5'8" in height. So I think you could get 2 adults in here. You could probably also get you could definitely get 2 car seats in here for kids. And then you've got a couple of handy USB-C ports, a little 12-volt plug option in there. So yeah, it is lovely. The thing that I love is this pano roof. It is an extra, so that's just something to be aware of, but I would probably go for it if I could, because it is really lovely, and you can also close it manually if you want to keep the kids shaded in the back. Well, what do we have here? That's right, it's more Puma. Okay, I know I'm taking the mick a little bit here. I don't mean to prod fun at how unchanged this is from the normal Puma, because like I said, it is the best selling car in the UK. People absolutely love it. So while we might have expected something a touch more dramatic, given the time it's been on the way, there's actually nothing wrong with it. It really does do the job. And to be fair, the Gen-E does get a few changes. You know, get this. A 2-tone interior for a bit more interest, and actually I do think it looks really nice. Also, let's mention this nice digital display behind the wheel. It looks quite similar to the one in the Explorer, and I like that. It's also simple, and you can choose to have it just showing your speed rather than loads of things going on at the same time. In terms of the driving position, it's nice, it feels pretty comfortable, the chair feels pretty well supported, but I think we need to do a few more miles to really test it. The one thing I'm slightly disappointed about is that they've maintained all the piano black everywhere. It's just, I don't know, are we over piano black now? Does it date it a bit? I've never been a massive fan of it, and it's still here, so maybe that's a personal opinion. But apart from that, you get the usual loads of storage space, you get wireless charging. So overall, it is a nice place to be. Now, the whole Puma range got this new 12.3 touchscreen and SyncForce software as part of an update this year. And it's got all the bits you need, including wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and even Amazon Alexa voice control, which is quite useful. And it gets over-the-air software updates. Now, we haven't had loads of time to play around with it, but it does seem to respond quite quickly, be quite straightforward to hop between screens and different functions. Although I would say, I think the navigation graphics maybe look a little bit old school, but maybe that's just my opinion. Now, if you go for the premium, the posh version, you get a Bang & Olufsen sound system thrown in. Snazzy. Now, do you know what? I think this is probably just what Ford needs. A sensible, versatile, efficient small electric car that people feel familiar with. I actually do think it's going to do really well, especially because they've got the pricing right. Yes, sorry, I thought I would wait to the very end to tell you this. So the entry-level Select model is £5 under £30,000, and the premium is 2k more, which means it's cheaper than a Jeep Avenger and an E2008, and it's got loads of competition from small SUVs like the Volvo EX30 and Hyundai Kona to hatchbacks like the MG4. And you could even say that the new Renault 5 might steal some sales, as it's a small 5-door EV with a similar range. Plus you've got the forthcoming Renault 4, which is spot on to take on the Puma. So in conclusion, I do really like the Puma. It's straightforward, and if it's anything like the standard Puma to drive, it is going to be great. Now, the monthly prices and deals are going to be absolutely critical. It's got to be good value at £250 to £300 per month with a lowish deposit. Do that and you're on to a winner. Right. Now let's see if I can get out of here without breaking any bones. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm not coming back. Thank you.